A very good Friday evening to you, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a great and productive week and are ready to enter your weekend in a great energy and style. And for tonight's edition, these are the headlines. In Paris, France, the opening of the 2024 Olympic Games is underway. On Friday, the Isoko Peace Institute, mandated to provide knowledge about Rwanda's journey towards unity and reconciliation, was launched. A very good evening to you once again, and thank you for your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. And as we started off, in Paris, France, the opening ceremony of the 2024 Olympic Games is underway. And earlier in the day, French President Emmanuel Macron received heads of state and government, including a President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. And Prince Panzi brings us the details.
French President Emmanuel Macron and the French First Lady received the heads of state and government ahead of the opening ceremony of the 2024 Olympic Games. President Paul Kagame and First Lady Jeannette Kagame are among the dignitaries who were received. Alongside the event, on Friday, President Paul Kagame met with the FIFA President Gianni Infantino at their new offices in Paris and discussed existing cooperation and opportunities for supporting football in Rwanda. The opening ceremony of the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris included various creatives, notably 80 boats bearing nearly 7,000 athletes in a floating parade across the Eiffel Tower. In addition, these Olympic Games convened an equal number of women and men, as they are all 5,250. The 2024 Paris Olympic Games will also feature breakdance as its debut, with athletes improvising to a DJ's beats, using popular breaking moves including spinning low to the ground and freezing. Rwandans participating in these games are 8. Salama Umutoni, leading the delegation, discusses the state of mind of Rwandan athletes before the games and what to expect. The athletes are fit and ready to compete in these games. We trained in Kigali and also in France upon arrival in July. We are very prepared. I urge Rwandans locally and in diaspora to come together and support our athletes. In details of Rwandans participating, Clementine Mukandanga and Eve Nimubona are athletes, Eric Manizabayo, Diane Ingabire and Jazina Mwamikazi are cyclists, Mitina Oscar Chusa and Lidwin Umuhoza Wase are swimmers, and Tufa Uwihoreye is a SWAT fighter. French President Emmanuel Macron ensured safety and security during these events.
Thank you, Prince. On Friday, the Isoko Peace Institute was officially announced. The institute aims to provide knowledge about peace and help foreigners learn about Rwanda's journey towards unity and reconciliation. The Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, highlighted that this institute will be instrumental in demonstrating that the process of unity and reconciliation is achievable in Rwanda. Adams Kwizera brings us the details.
At a conference focusing on the art and science of peace, resilience, and transformation justice, organized by Aegis Trust, members of the international organizations, academicians, activists, and community peace builders gathered to discuss critical issues. They reiterated that peace and justice cannot be defined solely by the absence of violence and insecurity. Instead, they emphasized that the community's commitment is the key element to achieving lasting peace and justice.
Peace is not merely absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice, equity, and respect for human dignity. Resilience is the capacity to recover, adapt, and thrive in the face of adversity. It is to know that yes, the challenges are there, but I, at the same time, am the one to get them over. Together, peace and resilience form the bedrock of a healthy, progressive society.
On the first day of the conference, Rwanda's journey to find solution after the 1994 genocide against Tutsi was highlighted. Discussions emphasized the importance of unity and reconciliation and the crucial role thus played in rebuilding the Rwandan community over the last 30 years. Virtually, former US President Bill Clinton reaffirmed that the genocide against Tutsi was a clear sign of the failure of the international community.
The 1994 genocide was a failure of the international community, and I will always mourn that we did not act together to swiftly end the killing. Today, I join you in honoring those who lost their lives and in paying tribute to everyone who's made the personal decision, day in and day out over the last 30 years, to choose reconciliation. It's been my great honor to work in Rwanda for many years on health and agriculture, and I've been deeply inspired by the people I've met who've chosen to bridge old divides and share the future. So much of this comes from the collective decision not to bury the past, but to learn from it.
Alice Raymond Deritu, the UN Under-Secretary General and Special Advisor to UN Secretary General on the Prevention of Genocide, noted that Rwanda is a beacon to the world of what healing and reconciliation looks like.
Rwanda is the beacon to the world of what healing and reconciliation processes resemble and feel like. And much is shared here and will be shared here, learning from experiences, challenges, and successes that have something to teach us in this very respect, sharing best practices that we can apply elsewhere to prevent the recurrence of such a tragedy.
On Friday, the Isoko Peace Institute was officially announced. This institution aims to provide knowledge about peace and help foreigners to learn about Rwanda's journey towards unity and reconciliation. The Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, highlighted this institution will be instrumental in demonstrating that the process of unity and reconciliation is achievable in Rwanda.
Amasomo azakomeza gutegurwa ariko cyane cyane n'ibiganiro kuko buriya amahoro aturuka.
We continue preparing courses, particularly dialogues, as the solution to peace often arises from discussions between those who have experienced misunderstandings and violence. As you may have noticed, social media sometimes becomes a platform for spreading violence. However, dialogues play a crucial role in building peace and fostering connections between the young and old, promoting civic engagement. Therefore, we facilitate such dialogues and conferences to cultivate understanding and harmony in our communities.
Ariko hakazabaho n'inama nini nkuko mubuzibona.
The Isoko Peace Institute is an international peace institute said to be located in Mujisa district, whereas it aims to serve as a spring of inspiration and a hub for exchanging practices of peaceful coexistence, benefiting communities in Rwanda, Africa, and beyond. This project is expected to cost nearly 40 million US dollars, with the construction slated to begin in 2026. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the report. And moving ahead, figures indicate that 45% of the water distributed to communities through the country's pipelines is lost before it ever gets to its intended beneficiaries. And officials say that the solution is to upgrade the existing infrastructure and expand it. Meanwhile, people are still complaining of water shortages, especially during this dry season.
Water distribution, especially during the dry season, is not always equal across all areas of the country, with some not seriously affected by shortages while others face a virtual crisis. So much so, those with taps that have not gone dry can sell it for as much as 20 times what it really costs. To compound matters, the 2022 report of the Auditor General revealed that 11 of Rwanda's 25 water processing plants were operating at less than 75% of their capacity, and as much as 45% of the clean water distributed in communities through the country's pipeline network is lost long before it gets to its intended beneficiaries. Then, of course, there is also the matter of how the water is actually used in households.
During
the dry season, the demand for water goes up, and we are unable to meet that demand because of the way people use their tap water. Watering their gardens, washing their cars, and so on. Activities that rainwater usually takes care of during the wet season. To make matters worse, our supply during that period reduces as water levels fall in rivers and other water bodies where we source what we distribute. That's the problem we are facing. Measures have therefore been adopted to address these and other challenges.
tugiye gukora ibishoboka byose dukomeze kwihutisha imishinga dufite hirya no hino mu gihugu yo gutunganya
We
amazi.
are going to do everything possible to speed up our water purification plants construction projects countrywide, including the building of reservoirs that will be used during the dry season. Our projects include the one at Gatsibo district with the construction of a purification plant that will draw water from Lake Muhazi to supply people in Gatsibo and Kayonza. Then there is another on the Chivu belt for people in Karongi and Rutsiro districts, another one close to Lake Sake to supply people in Goma and Chirehe, and also at Kagaga to deal with the shortages in Muhanga during the dry season.
ikunda kudutenguha ugasanga amazi yaho yagabanutse.
Population growth as well as urban migration are factors that will have to be considered for a long-term solution to be found for the problem.
At the conclusion of the 4-year SMART, which is an abbreviation for Sustainable Market Alliance and Asset Creation for Resilient Communities and Gender Transformation project, which focused on eradicating poverty, the Ministry of Local Government announced that the beneficiaries have attained self-sustainability and they are no longer at risk of falling back into poverty. We have the details. The project, implemented in Ruhango sector of Rutsiro district, focused on clearing the Bitenga marshland, which had been severely affected by erosion and had caused significant harvest losses for farmers. The project concluded with the establishment of over 120-member cooperative dedicated to cultivating potatoes in the reclaimed swamp. We used to harvest 5 tons per hectare, but now that grew up to 12 tons. We were trained on modern agriculture techniques, like using fertilizers. The increase in harvest helps us to develop. Farmers here in Bitenga have developed significantly. They managed to construct their own houses, bought cows, they managed to pay school fees for their children, and many more. In addition, terraces were established in the area, which contributed to harvest increase. The project helped us a lot in overcoming poverty by increasing agricultural productivity. We were trained on modern techniques, and when we applied them, we were amazed. Andrea Bagnoli, the UN World Food Programme Country Director, noted that with this project, harvest increase contributed to food security in the area. I think we have all seen the truth that things changed significantly. We have clear statistics that maize production increased, and that is the same for potato production in Bitenga wetland. That will help the citizens in this district to be food secure. Minister of Local Government Jean-Claude Musabyimana highlighted that the project's achievement aligned with the government's plan to assist vulnerable families in overcoming poverty.
And as you may be aware, today the government of Rwanda has adopted the National Strategy for Sustainable Graduation to support our citizens to graduate out of poverty, and I wish that this project serve as a foundation to serve to that purpose by leveraging of what you have been put in place to support all the families in need in order to get out of poverty and to get there sustainably. And it's the reason why we have been visiting all the infrastructure, and we have been making the maps we have been making to all the users. And we promise that your contribution will be put under action in order to support our citizens to get sustainably out of poverty with active support of the local government.
The project benefited over 4,000 people. Among other important achievements include the formation of community saving groups through which residents are trained on overcoming domestic conflicts. On July 25th, 2024, the Embassy of Rwanda in Morocco In collaboration with the Rwanda community abroad, Morocco organized the 30th celebration of the liberation of Rwanda, known as Kwibohora 30, in Rabat. More than 200 people, including Moroccan officials, diplomats, civil societies, partners and friends of Rwanda, assisted to the event. In her remarks, the ambassador of Rwanda to Morocco, Shakila Umutoni, stressed the importance of the Liberation Day for Rwanda, as it marks the end of the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsis in 1994 by the Rwanda Patriotic Army under the leadership of His Excellency President Paul Kagame. She also explained that the re-election of President Paul Kagame with overwhelming support reflects the trust and recognition of the Rwandan people for leading the country towards exemplary development 30 years after the genocide. In his speech, His Excellency Riyad Mazzour, the Minister of Industry and Trade of Morocco, who was the guest of honor representing the government, said that Morocco applauds the remarkable progress made by Rwanda under the leadership of His Excellency President Paul Kagame. He added that Rwanda, the land of 1,000 hills, with its unique history and remarkable reconstruction, is undeniably an Africa success story. And on behalf of the Moroccan government, he expressed his warmest congratulations to His Excellency President Paul Kagame on his re-election and wished him every success. And still on Kwibohora 30, on the 26th of July 2024, the Rwanda High Commission in Malawi, with a residence in Lusaka, celebrated Rwanda's 30th liberation anniversary and the 62nd anniversary of the independence, normally celebrated on July 1st. Joining in this year's commemoration celebration were over 300 guests that included members of the Rwandan community living in Malawi, host local government officials, civil society organizations, members of the diplomatic corps accredited to Malawi, and friends of Rwanda. The guest of honor representing the government of Malawi was Mr. Popa Kaunda, assistant director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Malawi. Mr. Douglas Gakumba, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Rwanda High Commission in Malawi, expressed heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Malawi on the recent tragedy which took the lives of His Excellency Saul Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, and other people. In his remarks, he stated that 30 years ago, Rwanda was almost a failed state following 32 years of bad leadership, and consequently the tragic unfolding of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, where 1 million lives were tragically lost. The guest of honor, Mr. Mopopa Kaunda, Assistant Director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Malawi, mentioned in his remarks that 30 years ago, the world witnessed the birth of a new Rwanda, which emerged from a resilient process of struggle for liberation from unjust and unfair governance system. And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on tonight's edition. And up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great and fun-filled weekend. Goodbye.